these particular tools or technologies, that is, you can say Azure or Google Analytics, they do some kind of data science or artificial intelligence activities, right? So an interesting factor that I was currently while watching IPL itself, I was trying to understand that how can in IPL, how can a particular batsman score whatever balls are given to that particular batsman, every ball he will hit a six, no matter whoever is the ball. Be it you can say Trent Bolt, or be it you can say Jasprit Bumrah, or you can say McGrath from the past, anyone. Do you think, is it possible that every ball, someone can hit the six? You can say around 50 overs are there. So 50 into 6, 300 balls, 300 balls. Whoever is the bowler, I'll hit a six. So it's just a question to you. I'm not talking about a human being. Let's take it a robot itself. It's a question to those who are present over there. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone tell whether it is possible? You can say 50 overs, each over has 6 balls, so 300 balls, whether it is possible to hit every ball 6? Every ball, no matter whoever.
No, sir.
Okay.
Not
No, sir. What I'm trying to tell is, I'm not talking from the perspective of human being only. It can be human being, it can be XYZ, anyone. So I meant to say no. But if I visualize that things, I think every ball someone can hit 6, no matter whoever is the thing. And how you do it is only the, you can say, magic of data science or artificial intelligence. Now in data science and artificial intelligence, what we do is we train different models. Okay. We train different models, and then the next step is we test those models to find it out whether the model, whatever we had training we had given it, whether the model is able to predict based on the training that particular model got. Now, for example, if I'm telling one of you from here in this group, I'm going to give you a training of judo karate for the next 5 years. Immediately after 2021 Olympics, for the next 5 years, day, night, everything, something like judo karate. Can you win a gold medal for the country? Possibly yes, right? And how do you win the gold medal for the country? Whoever is the number one in judo karate, or you can say karate itself, you beat that person in the Olympics final and you win the gold medal, right? That's how you do it. So what you do it is, you train yourself. So similarly, there are models which will train the data. From the data, the models will be trained. So once these models are being trained, they become the best. And once they become the best, what you do? You put forward before them certain other data on which you have not given them the training, and tell them, now find out the solution for this. And in most of the cases, 99% of the cases, they find out the right solution. Got it? So that's what data science and artificial intelligence do. In data science and artificial intelligence, you create models, and around those models itself, you put in data, and from the tunnel, from the other end, there are informations which flow out, and informations are important, and you know it at the end of the day after training multiple times and you refining this particular models, you find it out, okay, now the model is the best fit. Now you give them random data, and they are able to, in 99% of the cases, they are able to find the right solution. Now let's take it, that particular example, going back to hitting all the balls. Train a particular robot about how Jasprit Bumrah throws the ball, and in under what circumstances he throws. If he is hit 2 sixes, how he will throw the third ball. Train that particular robot. Similarly, how Trent Bolt will throw. Similarly, try to find it out how McGrath will throw. XYZ, whoever will throw. And under what kind of mental circumstances also they are throwing. Train that robot. Now put that robot before the particular ball. Don't you think that robot will hit that ball every Means all the 6 balls in that over, be it Jasprit Bumrah, McGrath, or Trent Bolt, or XYZ, whoever it is, Bretley or anyone. I believe they will be able to. Because they will, from the flash of the eye of the bowler, they will be able to understand what is going on in the mind of the bowler and where that particular bowler is going to put the ball. That's the amount of training that model will do. And they will hit it. Got it? So I've just given you a glimpse around data science and artificial intelligence and how relevant it is. And this particular data science and artificial intelligence is also relevant in our day-to-day life. Now, if you see recently this Amazon big day sale is coming up, Flipkart's also flash sale is coming up. They know when to hit the market during puja season. They won't go for during the summer season when there is temperature of around 45 degrees to sell their product. Why don't they go during that time? Because their models have told that during this time itself only your sale will be more. No matter what, no matter how many competitors are there. Got it? So that's how data science and artificial intelligence works. And inside that you find a lot of technologies being used. Microsoft has this Azure platform, IBM Watson platform, Google has this analytics division, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now this goes the data science and artificial intelligence line. So what about data visualization? So data visualization is a part of data science and artificial intelligence. Why would I say data visualization is a part of data science and artificial intelligence? The reason being this. Now there are two things over here. If you can see the upper part, which I have shown it the data from an Excel sheet, the lower part where you can see some pictorial representation of the world map of some kind of top 10 product sales, all these things are given. Now looking at the top part and the bottom part, can someone tell me how many of you agree that from the eye perspective, looking at something, are you able to get some information or some kind of valuable inputs? Just tell it to me from the top part or the bottom part. Where do you get the information? Immediately looking at something.
Bottom one.
Yeah. I know that 100 out of 100 over here, everyone will tell that looking at the bottom part is more relevant to me because it gives me the information that I require it. But looking at the top, if you see this particular bottom part is the information extracted from the same data which is at the top. But then as you told just some time back, difference between data and information is the top part is some kind of raw data or unstructured data or some kind of you can say unprocessed data which is presented to us. Now if I process this data, this will look like this. Okay, but this kind of processing that you can see it below, this is not feasible in each and every tool. At least like if you see the top one that is in the Excel sheet, can you do this particular activity? I don't know how many of you have used Excel to some extent or kind of extensively.
It's everyone.
How many of you? So you must be doing it in your, you can say whatever assignments or anything is given. So most of you will be having laptops and you will be using Excel sheet. But how many of you have started using Tableau? Anyone in the group? I believe silence means I think nobody has started using it, right? Is it right or wrong?
Another Sag who only used.
Sir, for data analytics, we have Tableau for HR analytics, sir.
Okay, but have you started using it? Anyone has started using it? I don't think anyone would have started. But then again, that's one thing I can tell you to, ma'am. Charumati ma'am, the thing is like Tableau has one year license for the students completely free. So what they need to do is, I believe, the examination admission ticket or something while validating, they will be asking it. So you need to upload it, they will validate and they will give you the license key. So if the group over here is very much interested, you can go and under license, under student column, you can ask for that particular license, and they will anyhow ask you this particular what you call
And send the
admit
link
card or any kind of validation. Yeah.
from their own website,
Sure.
Tableau. Okay.
Yeah, from their own website,
Okay.
So completely 1 year free.
Note of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and with most of the features available. Most of the features, I won't tell all the features, rather you can say most of the features. Means if I am using it in my industry, in my company itself, whatever I am using it, I can say around 99% of the features will be available through the student license for learning purpose. Corporate license will, you can say 1% more features will be there, which will be for the corporates. Anyhow, they are paying huge amounts of money. And like if you will go for Tableau, why this particular tool is so much important, significant in the market is not because the price is there. If you will see from the visualization tool perspective, Tableau is the most costly tool available in the market. But then again, they are the topmost in the industry. They have boast of around 51,000 accounts as of 2019. But yeah, the license, one license for 1 year for a corporate, for one particular person will be more than 1 lakh rupees. So it's a huge amount they're asking for. Compared to you go for other things like Power BI or IBM Cognos Analytics, or you go for SysScience or other fusion charts or anything else, this is very costly, but you can get it. But then another interesting feature about most of the tools available in the market, you go for Power BI. I also think in Power BI also something as such will be there, student license for learning purpose. So you can always go around in that particular site, inside Microsoft site, and start looking into different things. You will be able to get even Power BI, I believe, for 1 year. That's almost, I'm 90% sure, for any kind of organizations. You go for Oracle site, or you go for IBM, or you go for Google or anything. For students, mostly for learning purpose, most of them give at least 1 year free. Now this is one part. The other part is, if you are not going for student and you are just trying to learn something from him, they have around 15 days of free trial. 15 days is there. That you can do. That anyone can immediately do it. Got it. So now coming back to this topic itself, the below visualization that I am showing it, the same has been started from the above, that is from the Excel sheet. But the interesting fact is, through Excel sheet you can build this particular visualization. Maybe you can build some pivot charts, you can build some bar charts, and you can build some other kind of charts, pie charts and all those things, but you won't be able to create such kind of visualization in Excel sheet. So those are the limitations in short. So now, what is data visualization? So data visualization is a graphical representation of information and data. So data comes in through the pipe and information goes out from the pipe in the form of relevant output, which are useful for the stakeholders. By using visual elements like charts, graphs, and maps, as I showed it to you, data visualization tools provide an accessible way to see and understand trends. So trends in the data. Like as I told, during festival season, during Dussehra, Diwali, there are more sales. So that you will be able to see it, that the stakeholders will be able to see it from the data that I presented before them. And at the end of the day, who are the decision makers? The management, the stakeholders. And they need to be fed with relevant information to take the correct decision, right? And those relevant information will be in the form of charts, graphs, maps. And from there, they will be able to understand where the trend is, what are the outliers, what are the patterns in the data. During the Dussehra time, whether it is men who purchase more or women who purchase more, right? And during the Dussehra time, whether you purchase cloth items more or furniture items more, right? Those are the patterns in the data you try to find it out. And from that pattern, you find it out during the big billion day sales and all those things. They give the discounts around those items, which they find will be fast picked up by the customers, because they know that this is the competitive market. And again, when they are giving the discounts, they are aware of that if I am giving the discounts, whether after giving those discounts, whether I am profitable or not. whether I'm able to gain more market share or not, right? And that particular activity is done by data visualization tools. They present the data in a proper way. And behind that or underneath that, what goes in is some kind of raw data or might be informations also. When I tell raw data, that will be processed through some models itself. Even though Tableau has also some models, inbuilt models, which you can use it like clusters. Got it? So like mean, median, mode also you can do it through Tableau itself. But you can see very high-end statistical models, Tableau is unable to. But the benefit of Tableau is they can always link it through APIs or through other databases to use those particular tools also. Got it? So now I'll just jump over to some of the data visualization tools which are available in the market and which are quite widely being used in the market. Like Tableau, Microsoft, Power BI, IBM, Cognos Analytics, ClickView, Fusion Charts, Google Analytics. These are some of the visualizations. Now, why does Tableau stand out? And you can say others are picking up pace with Tableau. Hey, Tableau, if I show it to you, maybe I'll just open up Tableau. Yeah. So, if you see Tableau, in Tableau itself, you will be able to connect it to different data sources. When I talk about data sources, and everything you can connect. Most of those things which are there. MapReduce from Hadoop side, data analytics, big data analytics and all. So see the huge connectivity that they have into various kind of servers and files makes them one of the beneficial or advantageous position that they are in currently. Got it? Yeah. So now you can see my presentation. I'm back to the presentation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So yeah. So the number of, you can say, servers, files and all those things, you know, we can use it through Tableau. That is huge. So that's one of the benefits of Tableau. Then again, the another thing is it's very easy to use. You can only pull the data into the view and you can start analyzing the data. and I'll just show it to you in a short while from now. Yeah. So now, if you will see, what are the common data types, common types of data visualizations, and any of these tools you take it, it might be some different names you call it, right? But what are common types of data visualizations you get it? You get it charts, okay, bar charts, histograms, and all those things. You get it tables. Tables, when I tell it, you can have cross table references by highlighting in that particular table. Or the Excel sheet just I showed it to you over here. In this, if you highlight it, certain marks itself. Like for example, here you can see, towards the end, shipping cost and sales are there. Whichever is the highest, if you red mark it, okay, the sales which are there highest. So immediately you can find it. Okay, this particular row is having the highest sales, or you can say most costly shipping cost which you have got it, right? So if you highlight it, those are the things inside the table. So cross tables, you get it. You can get graphs, you can get something like scatter plots, you can get something like, you can say line charts. So similarly maps. In the maps you can get it, you can have the world map, and you can pinpoint where the sales is more in which city, like in India during the Amazon big day sales, you can find it at, okay, in Pune, the highest number of sale of you can say phones are there. In Bangalore, you can say furniture is there. So such kind of, in the maps itself, you can plot it. You have infographics. Infographics are something wherein you have pictorial representations, or in short also stories around those pictorial representations. So both pictures will be there, graphs will be there, stories around those will be there. Then you have dashboards. So if you see here, this is a dashboard from where I have taken this snapshot. So these are the common data types, common types of data visualization. No examples of this particular common types of data is like area chart, bar chart, box, and whisker. Some of these you must all be aware of, but some of them are completely, you can say, an advanced level of visualizations, which you will find it in the tools itself while using those particular tools. Got it? So examples of methods to visualize. So now coming to Tableau itself, some of the useful features of Tableau. Now what I'll do, I'll keep switching between this. So if I present it in this mode, hopefully it will be visible to everyone. Yeah, is it visible to everyone if I present it in this particular slide?
Yes, sir.
So now coming to some useful features of Tableau. And here I can see from your syllabus itself, there are many things covered up from this particular set of features. The first feature is like live versus extract. Now I'll explain it by showing it from the Tableau itself. Now here you can see two fields are there in Tableau. Wherever you can't see any of the screens, just or the screen is stuck, just let me know. Might be because of the slow connectivity. I don't know that the volume of people, those who are working from home, is huge in India, and the internet service providers in the current days, they are unable to provide a better service. So you can find connectivity issues. So might be if my screen stuck, then might be you can immediately raise the flag. Got it? Yeah. So now you can see the connectivity. There are two connectivity. One is live, another is extract. Okay. What's the difference between both of these? The thing is, if I am selecting live, whatever data I am pulling it, or whatever connections I am building it up. For example, if I am building it up to a connection in SQL Server, right? And in the SQL Server, for example, you have credit card information. And like every day, you can say every second itself, millions of credit cards are being swiped all over the world. Got it? So now if I am connecting it live to the SQL server of a particular bank or institution where credit card details are being captured, got it? So every millisecond itself, that server will be refreshed, correct? If someone disagrees or if someone has any queries, you can ask that. So those will be refreshed. Now, if those are refreshed, when you are doing this particular analysis over here, and once you click the refresh button or anything, your data will also be refreshed. Because that is in a live connection we are building up with the server. And I showed it to you how to build up this live connection directly here. And how do you do it is, if I click over here Microsoft SQL Server, and if I have a SQL Server installed in my system or installed in a virtual environment in my company, then while entering that SQL Server, it will ask me for the authentication credentials from that SQL Server. I need to enter that particular SQL Server or that environment's credentials itself, whatever it has been given by my company to me, then only I'll be able to enter that particular secured environment. Then only the data connection or data connectivity between Tableau as a tool and SQL Server as a tool will be built up. Hope everyone is clear. Got it? So that's how the connectivity between the servers or any files which are stored in a secure environment, even if Excel file in my organization, if it is stored in a secure environment, to build up that connectivity, I have to write my correct credentials. Got it? So once you build up that, the connectivity is built, and here you can find, here it is written connections. So if you have a connection to multiple sources, there will be multiple sources which will be defined over here. Global, Superstore, credit card information, XYZ, whatever servers you are connected. Got it? So here, if you connect to the live environment, when the data are refreshed, here in this particular area, the data will be refreshed. Got it? Once you do it. So under that situation, it's very difficult for you to analyze the data. But then again, there are organizations who wants to do on live data also. There will be situations, right? So they do it on a live data itself, connecting it. But for the purpose of building some models or getting some analysis or input, what you do is extract a certain data at that particular point in time. So now it is 5 o'clock. At this particular point in time, whatever that credit card information in that SQL Server has, only that particular data immediately I want to extract it. And only with that particular set of data, I want to work it for the next 1 hour. What I do, I click on extract. So that particular data becomes completely constant. It doesn't change. Even though in the actual server or in the actual environment, the data keeps on updating. It doesn't affect my analysis. Okay. So hopefully everyone is able to understand the difference between live and extract. Clear? So the next interesting thing around that is some people will be fearful or afraid while working in the organization that I have built up the connection and I have built up around live. Let's take it, we have built up around live to that SQL Server and I start doing some analysis around that. For example, if I change the name of this field or the variable category to you can say product name. Got it? So it will impact my SQL Server and there will be a whole lot of issues because in that particular server or the database, many other departments will be connected also to do the analysis. So you'll be afraid if I make the change over here, it will affect that particular, because I'm in a live connection, it will affect the database or the server and others will be affected and there will be red flag and everyone will start shouting at me. But that never happens. Whatever change, even be it in the live or in the extract, whatever change you make it, it remains within that Tableau and within that secured environment which you are working. That means within that particular instance, it's the instance that has been created for you. Got it? What you do is you do the changes only over here. You can't do the changes in that server even if you are there in the live environment. The changes are only concentrated to Tableau. Got it? And here itself I can show it to you. So now here if you will see the left hand side, the field name that is given, this is related to the changes that will make it in the field name. So for example, if I want to make it the changes to this, I was telling it to, I'll just revert back again. Okay. I'm able to make the change, but I won't be able to make the change over here because this is the actual field name corresponding to the data source. So your data source is not getting changed. The field name inside Tableau is getting changed. I hope everyone is clear. So no need to be afraid of while we are doing it. Okay. Yeah. So that's the difference between live and abstract. The second interesting feature is between aggregation and granularity. So can someone tell it in simple English what is aggregation and what is granularity? The question back to all of you.
Aggregation is like adding it together and making it like a total.
Okay, good. Yeah. Granularity? Anyone? Granularity? I think you should have answered by this time searching on your mobile itself meaning of granularity, right? Rather than me waiting for such a long time, or you can say around few seconds. So what it means is aggregation is something like whatever you told it is, yeah, it's correct. Totaling or summing up, averaging and all those things. So aggregating, totaling kind of thing. Granularity is breaking up that particular total. So now if you will see in this particular set, this particular sheet has data at the granular level. Why do I say at the granular level? Because each row is unique in itself. Okay. So this is at the granular level. In this particular thing, this is at the aggregated level wherein I am aggregating the information from this particular data source to get the information that I require it or I need it. I hope I am making sense, right? So I am doing kind of aggregation. But to what extent I am doing aggregation? Based on my problem statement. Like my problem statement was, you can say top 25 cities, I need to find it out where the sales is high all over the world. My problem statement. And based on that, I have broken down and aggregated to whatever extent possible. Got it? So the thing is, yeah, that's the difference between aggregation and granularity. Okay. At the lowest level, you can say it granularity. At the highest level, you can say aggregation. Totally sum it at all. So now, there are two kinds of things that occur when you pull the data or when you connect to the data in database, in Tableau, sorry, in Tableau. What it occurs is assigns a role and a type. And now when I mean to say role, it means whether that particular data field. So here you can say whether this particular data field is a dimension as per Tableau or is a measure. And what is dimension and measure? That I'll tell it to you further on. So it gives a role, either a dimension or a measure to that particular field or variable. And second, it gives a type. When I talk about type, it is something like whether it is a string. So I hope everyone knows string, what it is, like someone's name. My name is Amarendra. So it is a string, kind of characters or alphabets. Got it? Or it can be integer. Got it? Like numbers, something will be there. Like here, if you see, category is a string, city and all those things are string over here. Here sales is something like on a float. Quantity is integers, 2, 3. So difference between float and integer is a single digit. Whereas if you have a decimal, then it becomes a float. So there are 3 and another is date. So here you can say ship date, which is there. So that is the date. So there are 4 types under which these particular variables are put into immediately when you get a connectivity to the data. That is string. Then you have integer, either string, either integer, or either you can say float or date. Got it? And then immediately assign whether it is a dimension or measure. Got it? Data types, integer, float, string, date, as I showed you to, those are self-explanatory. No need for me to explain this. So what are dimensions and measures? So dimensions are something like categorical data. Got it? Whereas measures are something like qualitative or numerical data. Quantitative or numerical data. So what is dimension? Dimension is either qualitative or categorical data, whereas measures are quantitative or numerical data. Got it? So how does it matter? Now if we'll see, if I pull in measure, so simply if I'll pull it, let's create one worksheet over here. Yeah. So now if I'll say over here in this particular left-hand side panel, here you can see there is a thin line of bifurcation, right? Everyone can see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Everything above this, these are all dimensions. Everything below this, these are all measures. So I'm just pulling a measures into the view. What I get? A sum figure. You can see over here in the mark type, sum of sales. Got it? Clear? Now what I do, I just pull some category into this particular area. What I get it? 3 categories: furniture, supplies, technology, and under each, what was the sale? And the aggregation, earlier I showed it to you, some 12 million or something. Got it? 12 million something was there. So this portion, which is the dimension, and bottom portion, which is the measure. So what, from this, what you can understand it? Just tell me what occurs over here. Whether aggregation or granularity. Can someone quickly tell
Aggregation.
what happened when I pulled? Hello? Yeah.
Aggregation.
Yeah. So, and if I pull it, this, I think I'm like pull category. I'm pulling category. Yeah. What happened over here? Come on, you only told aggregation. So the other opposite end is granularity. You got more granular data in 3 complete cells, right? If I pull more information over here, let's take it segment. If I pull it, got it? More granular it became, isn't it? That's what I'm doing it, right? I'm breaking the aggregation into granularity, correct?
Yes.
Am I clear? Got it? So what I am doing it is, from aggregation I am moving to granularity. Now how I move to granularity? Just can you think about how I move to granularity from aggregation? First what I moved, an item from, what is this area?
Measure.
Okay. Then I pulled an item from, what is this
Dimension.
area? Okay. So another difference between both of these. When I pull the item from the measures, or measures always evaluate the items on aggregated level. Got it? Dimensions bring granularity to that level. Clear? So the more the dimension you put it, the more granular the data starts becoming. Am I clear?
Yes.
So dimensions and measures. So measures, and another simple difference you can find it is dimension is something like names, types, and all those things. Measures are like height, length, kind of figures or numbers you can tell it, right? So this is one other. So all these difference you can find it in, if you will Google it, dimension and measures difference in Tableau, you can find it over there. But the high level, some difference which makes the understanding clear that I showed you. Got it? So the next thing is relationship, joins, and blends. Got it? So here I'll show you another thing. Now from this particular global superstore, if I'm pulling here one thing, got it? Yeah, already I have one. I'm pulling one from here, pulling the people from here. Okay. So this is the relationship it is asking for. In what way this is being related? Got it? The orders and the people. Or it might be for better understanding, you could pull orders, and like if you are ordering something, you are returning, some people are returning something. Got it? Relating to the order ID. So it will tell it which field of order ID, order step, spreadsheet is related, or worksheet is related to returns tabs. Got it? And you build up a key kind of thing. So order ID over here is related to the return ID in the return spreadsheet. correct? You build a relationship, and that relationship also you define it. Here, I'm just going a little bit quicker because it's around 5:15. So it will be something like you build up a relationship. You all know about the set theory, right? Unions, intersections, conjunctions, and all those things. So such kind of relationship you can build up over here, right? On the fly, in the data source. And that relationship you can take it to the tabs. I'll just close it. So that is the relationship, some kind of inner join, outer join, and all those things. Now if I go back, what is blend? I'll just show it to you in another. See? Yeah. Here what it occurs is, I'm not pulling two things from here. Even though this data is migrated, this is migrated at a very higher level. That means from two different data sources. You can see from two different database also. One is orders database. Okay, another is something like quota database. At the high level, I'm telling you. And the blend, I'm doing it on the fly. So here if you will see, and the quota, if I switch over, here you can see one chain icon is there. Okay, let me click over this chain to find it out what it is. Sorry, I had this. Yeah, so what it occurs is it automatically builds up based on whatever the nearest one. That's the best feature that you get it in Tableau. So Tableau finds here that here you have the state, and here you can see you have city, you will have state. So when you are pulling two particular sources, got it? In case of joins, the source is one. In case of blends, the source are two. Different sources you are pulling. So Tableau try to identify both the sources and try to find it out which are the similar fits. So you find it in this particular source you have state, and here you can find in this particular you have state. And then while I built up this, when I was building up this, it will ask you whether you are ready to build up the connectivity or the key between both these fields in both these particular data sources. If I say yes, this particular sign will appear. And automatically once you pull data from here, and you can pull data from here and create the visualization. Got it? So what is the difference between joins and blends? Joins is mostly you will be working on the same data source. Whereas blend, you can blend multiple data sources by building a unique key between each of these data sources. Clear? So now the second term, the next term is level of detail. Level of detail is something relating to aggregation and granularity. Okay. So the level of detail, to what extent it can be in this particular scenario, the level of detail in the first one is at the row level. Okay. At the very least or the lowest granularity level. Whereas when you come to the view itself, okay, in the below one, if you come to the view, so you can say level of detail will be always the dimensions or the view that has been presented on the screen. So whatever you will say it over here, if I see the level of detail, the aggregation or the granularity will always be based on this particular view. So whatever you are pulling up, that is the level of detail, mostly related to aggregation and granularity. Clear? So the next thing is discrete and continuous. So when you talk about discrete, something it will be like name, or you can say country name, city name, or you can say postal code and all those things. Those are kind of discrete things. Discrete things in, that is not kind of continuing. In the sense, if you say name is something like here, over here, you can say something like Arpit is there. So this is a discrete. Does it continue Arpit 1, Arpit 2 and all those things? It doesn't. Now if you will say dates itself, today is 17, tomorrow will be 18 and all those things. So the dates are completely in a continuous way. Got it? You can always change inside Tableau from discrete to continuous. continuous flows will be mostly represented by, you can say, line charts. Got it? And yeah, histograms, you can say. But if we'll say about discrete data is mostly represented by bins, or you can say bar graphs, individual data. So here you can say these are kind of discrete. The information inside central is not passed on to east. Clear? Each have their own individuality. So it's not a continuous one. Whereas the continuous one will be something like line chart you are drawing it. The flow or the pattern that flows. Clear? Next thing is, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I have another meeting by 5:30. I'm leaving. Dr. Rajeshwari will be there. Huh? Yeah, please
Okay,
continue.
so,
And
yeah, ma'am, can I continue beyond 5:30?
Yeah, you can take. And send your proposal for the syllabus to my mail. Huh? We will discuss later. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Dr.
thanks.
Rajeshwari, please take that. Yeah.
So the next thing is quick table calculations. Quick table calculation. Hello. So can you continue? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the next thing is quick table calculations. Quick table calculations are predefined, you can say, computations inside Tableau, which are built up for the easiness or comfortness of the user who is using the Tableau itself. So inside that, the calculations will be there. So something like, as you can say, I'll just show it over here. Might be the other sheet. I'll just open it. So something like, if you see the aggregation or totaling something or subtotal of some items, averaging something, which are already inbuilt inside Tableau, then it becomes life easier for you in the sense that you don't need to write any kind of formula. So there are some pre-computed features which are available inside Tableau. I'll just show it to you, something like, if you see over here. Okay, here you can see the feature is there. Quick table calculations. So what it shows, some information like running total. Immediately on the view itself, you can do it. But then all these quick table calculations are limited to the data that is there in the view. And when I'm talking about the data that is there inside this particular thing, whatever data has been pulled into here. Okay. So that is all. I'll explain it a little bit later. Order of operation. So which operation will be first conducted, which operation will be second conducted, then so on and so forth. So based on whatever information is there in this view, not in the data source, in this view, this particular calculations comes into picture. And it is handful relating to this particular things. So like running total, difference, percent difference. What if this quick table calculations would not have been there? You would have built up this particular things in a calculated field. And how you do the calculated field built up? You just click on somewhere, you can say in a blank field over here, and you see create calculated field. Got it? And here you can say many such formulas are there, floor, X, Y, Z. Let's pick up something aggregated formulas, collect, count, max, include. So all these things. So you would have been able to write that formula for running total. But then Tableau has given that particular thing handy for you to use it immediately. So those are the quick table calculations which are already inbuilt inside this Tableau. Next thing is parameters. Parameters are something like which kind of global placeholders, which with the changing, you can say, variables itself, you will be able to see the visualization immediately. So here I'll show you another useful piece of information relating to parameters. So hope everyone can understand what global placeholders are. So something like on which you can frequently change the data and immediately the visualizations will be changing. Yeah. So now here you can see on the right hand side, there is, I'll just pull it into this mark type. So this is something which has been built up. This is the parameters which are built up. And where you have built up this parameter, this dynamic measure. So let's look into dynamic measure. So here you can find it. A particular formula is there, if condition is there. Got it? So the case is when I select a measure, when I select one, that is the first one, that is sales. So this is a variable. You can see inside this sales is there, right? So when I select sales, change this picture into the representation of sales for a particular region or whatever month of order date, whatever I have given it. When I change into profit, so change it, this view itself as per profit. Shipping cost, unit price accordingly, right? So let's see it, how it occurs. Now here you can see the month of order date is there. Got it? Every month in a particular year, how the sales changes. If I want to see the profit, immediately I switch from here, the profit values are pulled up as per the formula. I want to see how the shipping cost increases or decreases for each of this department, furniture, office supplies, and technology, how it occurs. So on the fly itself, you are able to visualize multiple things immediately. Got it? Inside a global placeholder. This is the placeholder, right? That is parameters. Now moving over to what are the things that you find it in Tableau and where you can work around. You can find worksheets to work around. You can find dashboards. You can find story. Got it? So where are those? Here if you will go. So the first one here, if you hover the mouse over it, you can see worksheet it is appearing. Got it? This total top 10 product sales as well as top 25 cities for sales. These three are completely worksheets which I have built by clicking on this like this. Got it? Now the second one near to that is dashboards. This particular one, worldwide sales, wherein I have pulled the information from these three sheets to build a dashboard for my stakeholders or users. Got it? So this is a dashboard. This is another item inside Tableau. One is worksheet. Second is dashboard. Third is you have stories. Got it? I'll just open another visualization where I have created some stories around. So there are three items. Just remember there are three items inside this. One is worksheet. Second one is dashboard. Third one is story. I showed it to you worksheet, and this worldwide sales is the dashboard. Now I'm showing it to you stories. Got it? On the top bar, whatever you find is these are the stories. Stories tell something about the data that is being visualized or represented over here. I have switched from one story to another. Okay. So now you can see immediately the view has changed inside dashboard. Got it? And stories are mostly relevant to dashboard. Stories you build up around dashboard itself, inside dashboard. Okay. So here I see it. Okay. The furniture department is the least profitable that I have written a story. And here I have shown it. You can see it over here, the furniture. Okay. And I can switch between, these are the filters which are there on the right hand side. Now you want to switch to another story. I want to see comparing average discount by category wise. If I switch here I can see I have compared for each of the categories the average discount that is being offered to the customers, right? 5%, whereas table you have the highest, 21%. Got it? So I hope I am clear what are worksheet. Worksheet you actually create some kind of analysis, you do it. Dashboard is beautiful for representation of those particular worksheets in a way the stakeholders want it. Similarly, the stories also you built around those dashboard items itself, wherein with changing stories you present it changing visualizations. Got it? So the next type is the file types. The file types internal to Tableau in which these particular things are being stored. So if I am closing one of these, in what way it is stored? The first is TDS, Tableau data source. Got it? So if you will save in Tableau data source, it will be something like in a simpler way. It will be stored in your Tableau repository, which will be built up while you are installing Tableau in your system. And how do you know it? And from here, if you will see, if I go over here, You can see these two are there are the same data source. These two are there in my Tableau repository. In what format it is their file type? These two are there in .tds format. Okay. Now next, if I go to TWB, so that is Tableau workbook. Okay. Tableau workbook is only the view will be saved. Now if I go, I believe something over here. Yeah. So here if you will see, this particular one is stored in TDS because that I have pulled it from Tableau repository. Don't know whether okay, I can quickly do one thing. So here you can see if I go to the properties of this will be TDS. Yeah, everyone, and you can see how it is how the icon is. Now this one I will unpackage it and I'll show you the TWB file type. So here another icon is formed, right? Let me go to the property. Here you can see TWB. So what it occurred is it actually broke up this particular file into two things. One is this one is this one. So this is the source files, whereas this is the visual representation from the source. So it separated both of these. And this is the TWB, Tableau workbook, right? Then the last piece is TWX. TWX, anyhow, this is over here. So this is a TWX file type. You can see here TWX, right? TWBX. So what it means is both this data source as well as this visual representation, both of these are being packaged over here. Inside this, both the data source is also there as well as your visual representation is there. Hope I am clear about all these things and I am showing you with the example section, right? So the first one is TDS, this one is TWB and this one is TWBX. Clear, everyone? Now moving over to the last piece, that is the order of operations. Here I'll spend very few minutes because this is a huge thing, explaining and all those things. You need to show it over how it occurs in Tableau and it will take a longer time. So hopefully if someone is interested, they can go through this particular information inside Tableau's website, and I have picked up from Tableau's website. I'll just give the gist of this matter. So how it flows? It flows from extract filters to down to the Tableau calculated filters. So what it occurs is the extract filter occurs when you immediately extract the data from any source itself to Tableau for doing some kind of analysis. I showed you to live and extract. So that will be the first filter which is applied on the data when you pull the data. Got it? Immediately when you pull the data, that will be the first filters that will be applied. And how it is applied? Based on the filters that is already there in the data source. All those filters will come. Second is data source filters. How the data, where is the data source filters? To go over here, whatever filters I applied over here in this particular tab itself, right? I can put filters around here also. Here you can see the add filter is there, this option is there. This is the data source filter. So this is the second level of filter that I can go. So it's top to bottom which is flowing. Then the third level is context filter, that I do it in the view itself. Inside the view there is a context filter which I do it. So during that time the filters will be there. Here you can see two context filters are there. Then the dimension filter. Whatever filter I put it inside the dimension. Here you can see inside product name, and you know product name is a dimension. This filter will be the next one after this context filter which I have put it. Here. Then the measures filter. So after measures, the granularity, if you will see, If I do it, the higher over here is product name, then whatever I do it is I do it for some features or figures itself, not features, some figures itself. So the next level will be whatever filters I put up around the measures. Clear? So the dimension filter is of the higher priority compared to the measures. Then the last one is Tableau calculated filters. So whatever filters I create around the view, those will be the last ones. So something like you can say the parameters will be some kind of filters, which I can think of. Got it? Then in between, you also define it, sets condition filters, top 10, top 20 and all those things, fixed level of detail, what you define it, all these things fall in between these transition phases of all these things. You can read more about all these things from the Tableau website. Okay. So that is the level of detail. Now getting to some analytics inside Tableau. If you go into Tableau, you have an analytics option over here. Here there are very minimal analytics because in statistics you will find lot of algorithms are there. Okay. You can say binary algorithms, XYZ. I don't remember also so many are there. But out of that, very few Tableau itself can do it. And that is like defining the medians, finding out some box plots, trend lines, forecasting clusters. You have it in your syllabus. So these are some kind of algorithms. So you create clusters. Got it? So such kind of things you can do it inside the analytics. So reference line building up, reference band. I have those data, but I can, due to shortage of time, might be in some other session where you do the lab session kind of things, I can show you how to create reference line, reference band, because this itself will take a lot of time to build up. You need to build a problem statement and all those things. So these are some few analytics which are already available inside Tableau. But there are, apart from this, you can say these are, you can say 1% of the statistical world or the analytical world that is there inside Tableau. And mostly the visualization tools represent the data. They don't create some kind of algorithms. For creating algorithms, you have something like Python, and where in Jupyter itself, you can, Jupyter framework, you can create the algorithms, and those algorithms, then you can connect it to Tableau through some kind of API calls. And thereby you will be able to use those formulas or calculations or algorithms inside Tableau on this particular data to give some relevant information or useful information. Clear, everyone? Yeah. So this is the overall my thoughts or ideas around Tableau as well as the data analysis and data visualization world that I wanted to share with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Students, if you are having any clarifications, if you want to ask anything, you can just ask.
Is from anyone? I don't know whether I can take a print screen of this. So anything, Rajeshwari, or is it restricted?
No. If nothing is restricted.
I'm just taking a print screen. Anyhow, if you can take a snapshot of this particular screen that is being visible with all the students and even you.
Yeah.
So that will be
Yeah,
useful
you
if
can
you can. Yeah, you can.
No
You can also
problem.
send it to me. So anyone from the group also can send it to me. That will be useful for me at least. I don't know whether it's getting saved or whether I'm able to take a snapshot. Let me find it out. So meanwhile, if anyone has any queries or questions, feel free to ask me.
Yes, students, have anything to ask? It seems
Either Rajeshwari, I can think of two things. Either everyone understood it or nobody understood it. Whatever I told.
yeah. Actually, being the first time they are actually listening to this kind of practical kind of just as you have just shown how it works. Probably this is the first time they are just listening this kind of demonstrations. So it may take some time for them to just understand. So in coming, as you mentioned, no, if you are planning for some future sessions, so definitely they will just get into this and they will understand and they will interact a lot, I believe.
Hmm. So anything,
Anyhow,
later point of time, anyone can reach out to me anyhow. But then again, Rajeshwari, if you want to do anything, so you can also schedule some sessions on the tablet. So that
Yeah.
would be beneficial for them also. But yeah, before that itself, I would request that since student license is completely for 1 year and Tableau is the most widely used tool, you can say all 90% of the Fortune 500 companies will be using Tableau. To that extent, Tableau
so
compared to other Power BI or anything is so much popular. So it would be useful if someone.
okay, what way it will just help them for their placement opportunities just by learning this software and what kind of job opportunities are there for them? So definitely it will motivate them.
Yeah, so the job opportunities in Tableau is wide. If you go and search somewhere in anywhere, you can go for Naukri or any a site. If you go international, Indeed or anywhere, if you go, there are a lot of opportunities. But unfortunately, this is something. This is an area wherein most of the companies require data science or data analytics area, where most of the companies require people with experience. But that doesn't stop you from presenting you to the industry. And how do you do it? So you can see, just one example I'm just giving it. From the health ministry side also, can you extract the COVID data? You can extract it. Okay. You have to extract the COVID data and build visualizations around that. Present it in your LinkedIn profile. And when the time comes for your placement session, or when you are approaching any company, you can tell it, okay, this is the visualization, this is a very much significant information that I have put up in my LinkedIn profile with data from the health ministry or data from the credit card department and all those things. This is worth looking up. Any company will certainly start looking at it. You know, at the end of the day, the brand matters of any institution, but if the students have the capability to build up the visualizations around Tableau with the student license itself, has a huge opportunities.
Yes.
That is the
Yeah.
only thing I can tell it to you. But yeah,
Yeah, students, I think you understood what he's telling. You people, you learn on it on your own and you can just use the freely available data and you can just develop some these visualizations and you can make it as an valuation to your CV. So whenever you are sitting for an interview, you can claim it as an additional knowledge you gained and definitely that will help you to go to heights.
yeah, and the important thing around this is like to build those visualizations, it should be having some kind of, as I told, you need to understand the problem statement. You have defined the Tableau, you have installed the Tableau, you start building those visualizations around that. And yeah, you have this summer internship as well as final internship, which is there. Why don't you build up such kind of things and give as a project to the department? The department will be having a good amount of information as well as the teachers are there like Charumati ma'am, Rajeshwari ma'am, yeah, I don't know who else is there from our time. They can give you certain inputs around that and some valuable information around that which you can present it always on your CV. That is the most important thing. Otherwise, like if you are telling it on the Tableau itself, yeah, I'm not telling it is restricting with some pressure. So you can always go and search if you are good in Tableau. Go and search where they require Tableau specific analytics, right? Where they require freshers, then you can apply for that. And you can always go for the dumps where what kind of Tableau questions are being asked and all this. And always reach out to me also. Yeah.
One more thing, which specialization students may have better opportunities with learning this Tableau? Because here we have all the basic 4 functional areas specializations. We don't have specialization papers floated in systems and systems and operations. So here students are actually having the functional area specialization papers only related to this operations, marketing, and this HR and finance. So where they can find more application related to this Tableau if they want to just improve their knowledge in that area.
I would say not restricted to one particular area. I can just give an example also. That will be useful for you to, because due to shortage of time, I couldn't show it to you. Now this is you can say from the medical science area, where Tableau has built up some useful things. And I'll just show you, present the screen again. That will let you know how much useful Tableau is. Hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Now here you can see this is relating to medical science. So you can say injuries and all those things, and the source of the data. Let me see the source. I don't have it currently, might be hard to unpack it. But again, you can see the injury, location of injury in a human body. You are finding it out, where it is hitting and all those things, you can find it out. So if I'm telling it is relating to medical science also, Tableau is gaining popularity in hospitals itself to find it out what kind of patients are coming. Operations and marketing and finance are far ahead of that. In operations, where you find it out, you have this particular, I don't remember that particular, with some green belt or black belt, you get it relating to operations. Toyota has actually utilized that. I don't remember that. So that particular thing also, like the amount of defects that go into an airplane, right? The visualizations you can build around that also. But then what kind of activities you can present with operations or finances, something on the analytics wing. And analytics wing is there in automobile industry, in airlines industry, in trucks, in oil and natural gas. Every industry has their analytics wing to find out relevant information. Relevant information in airline industry is something like the defect in the engine should be lesser than, you can say, 99.9999%, because with that 0.0001% also, there can be a chance of an accident. Right?